Today, we are diving into one of the most powerful and honestly one of the most debated religious images in the entire world, Our Lady of Guadalupe. This is an image that has inspired centuries of faith, some pretty fierce skepticism, and has even been at the center of revolutions.
Okay, so here it is. This is the image at the very heart of our story. It's housed in a basilica down in Mexico City, and what you're looking at is an image imprinted on a simple cloak, a tilma made of cactus fiber. For almost 500 years, this one piece of cloth has been an object of just intense devotion and, yeah, a whole lot of controversy.
And when I say intense devotion, I mean it. We're talking an estimated 20 million pilgrims who travel to see it every single year. Just to put that in perspective, that makes its home one of the most visited sacred sites on the entire planet. So this all leads to the big question, right? What is the story here? How can one piece of fabric be seen as a direct message from heaven by millions and, at the same time, a clever forgery by others? What gives it this incredible, enduring power?
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get into the miraculous story itself. Then, we'll look at the case for skepticism. After that, we'll explore its role as a symbol for a nation, understand its very modern mission, and finally, try to figure out its enduring power.
All right, let's start with the origin story. This is the account of an image that believers say is akeropoieta, which is a fancy Greek word that basically means not made by human hands.
So the story goes, back in December of 1531, a humble indigenous man named Juan Diego has a vision of the Virgin Mary. Now, the local bishop, he's skeptical, to say the least, and he demands proof. So the Virgin tells Juan Diego to gather these Castilian roses, which, by the way, had no business growing in the Mexican winter, and collect them in his tilma. When he gets back and opens his cloak for the bishop, the roses tumble out, and there, miraculously imprinted on the fabric, is this perfect image. Now, for believers, the miracle didn't just stop in 1531. They point to a whole list of scientific claims that they say defy any logical explanation. For one, the cloth itself, made from cactus fiber, should have just disintegrated in a few decades, not lasted for centuries. Researchers have claimed there are no brush strokes at all. A Nobel Prize-winning chemist supposedly found the pigments came from no known source on Earth. And get this, some even claim the tilma maintains a constant human body temperature.
But this is where things get really wild. Believers claim that when you digitally magnify the Virgin's tiny eyes, they are super small, they reflect the exact moment of the miracle. They say you can see Juan Diego opening his tilma in front of the bishop and about a dozen other witnesses. It's like a perfect little snapshot from 1531, preserved in her eyes. And it doesn't stop there. Take a look at the stars on her mantle. That pattern isn't random. Nope. The claim is that it's a precise map of the constellations as they appeared in the sky over Mexico City on December 12, 1531. So in this view, the image isn't just a portrait, it's like a celestial code. Okay, so that's the miracle side of the story. But as you could imagine, for every one of those claims, there's a strong counter-narrative, a case for skepticism that really challenges the whole thing from the ground up. And for skeptics, the explanation is, well, a lot simpler. As one person on Reddit put it, pretty bluntly, it's a painting. Duh. They argue it's just a beautiful piece of art, made by human hands, and that it's even been touched up and repaired multiple times over the centuries. Skeptics also point to some, pretty compelling historical holes. For starters, the bishop in the story, he was a huge writer, kept tons of records, yet he never wrote a single word about this incredible event. And the name Guadalupe? It wasn't new. It was already the name of a famous shrine back in Spain. And maybe the biggest one, some records from just a few decades later claim that local church officials actually knew the name of the indigenous artist who painted it. Now, this is a really crucial point to understand. Even within the Catholic Church, there's a more pragmatic view. This is considered a private revelation. And what that means, as one Catholic writer put it, is that you aren't required to believe the story to be a good Catholic. It's not a core belief, like the resurrection. But here's the thing. Whether you think it's a miracle or a myth, you absolutely cannot deny its immense cultural and historical power. And this is where the story gets even more fascinating, in my opinion. To really get why it's so powerful, we need to understand this key concept called inculturation. It's basically the way the Christian message gets woven into a local culture, using that culture's own language and symbols to communicate something new. And this is where everything just clicks together. the Virgin Mary appeared on Tepeyac Hill. Well, that just so happened to be the exact site of a shrine to the Aztec mother goddess, Tonantzin, whose name literally means our sacred mother. So the indigenous people almost immediately started calling the Virgin Tonantzin too, creating this beautiful, seamless fusion of their old faith and the new one.
And maybe the most critical part, her appearance. She looks like a mestiza, a woman of mixed indigenous and Spanish heritage. For a new society that was born from a really brutal conquest, she became this incredible unifying symbol. For the local people, who used pictures to write, she wasn't just a painting. She was a codex, a text full of symbols that spoke a message of peace and dignity. And that power made her a revolutionary banner. Father Miguel Hidalgo carried her image when he launched the Mexican War of Independence. She was a symbol for the Cristero rebels, for Cesar Chavez and the farm workers in California, and she is still, to this day, a profound symbol of protection and identity for migrants. Okay, so let's fast forward a bit. Let's see how this very historic image has taken on a new and really potent meaning in a very modern context. For the modern pro-life movement, Our Lady of Guadalupe has become an absolutely central figure. As the founder of Human Life International put it, she is unique because in this particular vision, she appears so clearly as an expecting mother. So how is that connection made? Well, it's built on three main interpretations of the story. First, she appeared to the Aztecs, a culture that practiced human sacrifice. Second, that black sash she's wearing was a local symbol for pregnancy. And third, her message was all about being a merciful mother, offering refuge from gods who demanded death. So you can see how this creates a really powerful parallel for activists. They see a pregnant mother standing against an ancient culture's practice of human sacrifice, and they draw a direct line from that to their modern fight against what they call the culture of death. So, after all that, what should you take away from this? Well, the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe clearly isn't some static relic of the past. It's a living, breathing symbol whose meaning has just continued to evolve and deepen for centuries. So we come back to that first question, miracle, myth, or master symbol. You know, maybe the real miracle is that she's somehow all of these things at once. Her power is her ability to be an object of incredible faith, a banner of national identity, and a potent call to action in the modern world. That's the real, undeniable magic of the image on the tilma.